Welcome in everyone. This is going to be my free high ticket closing course. I'm going to be holding nothing back, giving you everything I know on how to close specifically high ticket coaching and mentorship programs. All right, let's get into it. So, how does this work? This is like a brief overview of just high ticket closing if you're not too familiar on it. You're basically going to be selling for an influencer that has a following on Instagram or YouTube. If you are in the closer position, you don't have to worry about appointment setting. The appointment setters will be filling your calendar for you. You're most likely going to be using like a Calendly link, and you're going to be using Zoom calls. So that's how you're going to be organizing everything. Your calendar is going to be booked for you. You're going to have a full schedule of calls. You just need to show up, take those, and close the deals and actually be good at selling. So you're going to make a commission on all the deals that you close. Programs can range from anywhere from 2 to 25K. It just depends on the offer that you're selling. And the only skill you need to possess to actually to sell this is going to be sales. That's all you need to do. You don't need to worry about any of the fulfillment, the back end of the business. You just have to be good at showing up to these calls, being able to talk to people and close the deals, which is exactly what I'm going to show you how to do right now. All right. So the key to selling online coaching or mentorship programs. This is the most valuable part of this whole thing right here is you need to sell the transformation or the outcome. You're not selling them on the deliverables. No one will pay 5K for a couple one-on-one calls and a course, but they will pay 5K for the body of their dreams or the ability to start making 10K per month remotely. So mentorships are extremely valuable in getting you to your goals extremely quickly by learning from someone who has already gone through the process of what you want to achieve, and they can help you get there so much quicker. So this is actually how I learned how to sell myself. I listened to someone who was selling the exact thing that I was going to sell. So I basically did a mentorship with them. This wasn't a paid mentorship. I was lucky to know the person and just be able to, it was telesales and life insurance, and I was able to just sit with this person and do a mentorship for about 1 to 2 weeks. When I really didn't know how to sell prior to that, I just sat there, I listened to every single thing that they did, from how they started the calls to how they presented the program or the offer, how they overcame the objections, how they closed it, every single thing, how they wrapped up the call. That is how I learned how to sell. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't do that mentorship and I was trying to figure things out for myself. So basically what I did in my mentorship was I just sat there and listened to them and took notes throughout the day. I said, this is how they start the call, like high energy, this, and that. We're going to go over all this. This is how they overcame objections. And if I had any questions throughout this, I would ask them. I would ask them about their thought process. I would ask them about what were they trying to accomplish with this? What was this? And that's how I learned. I was just literally sitting there listening to someone else sell. It wasn't them teaching me. It was no course. So from just listening to someone else sell what I wanted to sell, I was able to have a successful sales career, and that was my first successful one. So that's how powerful mentorships can be in completely skipping the learning process, getting you from point A to point B as quickly as possible. So I 100% believe in coaching and mentorship programs, and they can truly help you and provide a lot of value. So that's going to be the key, though, is to sell the transformation and the outcome, right? For me, it wasn't a paid mentorship. I was lucky, but the outcome was I will learn how to sell this it was life insurance. I will learn how to sell this life insurance, and I will learn how to sell it very quickly in 1 to 2 weeks. That is valuable. I would have paid 5K for that because I was able to make more than 5K right after doing that program. It wasn't an official program, but it was basically a program. All right, so now that you know the basics, so what are you going to be selling, how to sell it, the key to selling this, let's go into the structure for the call. So this is super important. This is how the framework for actually selling high ticket coaching and mentorship programs. So every call you're going to start off with an introduction. You're going to introduce yourself to the person. This is when you first get on the call. So you start the Zoom call and you want to be high energy. You want to be excited, happy. The way I'm talking to you right now, you don't want to be coming on to these calls like this and just saying, hey bro, how's it doing today? Oh, it's nice to meet you. No one's going to buy from you then. So you need to be high energy, excited, happy, wanting to be there. The goal here is to warm them up and make them feel comfortable And most importantly, become their friend. Because if you come as a friend and you're kind of advising them on the path to take instead of selling them, that is going to be huge. That's in almost every single one of the sales books I've read and learned about, is that you really want to befriend the person that you're trying to sell to, being more of an advisor instead of a salesman. So this intro can take anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. It depends how much you're connecting on. If you are selling some sort of coaching or mentorship program that you're actually passionate about, like fitness, and you're into fitness and they're into fitness and that's their goal, I mean, it should be super easy to build rapport and do things like that. And, but you want to ask questions just, if you were selling just anything in general, the things I always open up my calls with is, how's your day going? Where are you from? How do you like it there? And just talk a little bit about that. There was one call when I spoke with this guy from Idaho, and he was really into nature and the outdoors. He liked hiking, camping, fishing, and I was telling him about all my hiking and fishing adventures that I've done. So we had a really long intro, but what that did was it established a ton of trust, a ton of rapport early on in the call, and really allowed me to present this to him. He was super open to everything I had to hear. After taking hundreds, if not thousands of calls, I will tell you that it is a huge difference between the people who you really befriend early on and if you just rush into the call. Because no one's perfect. There's times when I go into these calls, a little bit impatient after having a bunch of bad ones, and I don't take the time to do the intro properly, and it does not set you up for success the same way as if you were to really take your time and get to know this person. You really want to build as much rapport and connect as much as possible early on to build that trust. So you want to think of it like paper. If every single thing that you connect on is like a piece of paper, and each one stacks on top of the other. So if you only had one thing you connected on and you were just kind of friendly and you just said, hey, how's it going, bro? Let's get right into this. You have that one piece of paper that if the wind comes along and it blows, this paper is gone. So the metaphor is saying that, you can really easily lose this call later on if one thing happens that maybe they don't like. But if you built so much trust and rapport with stacking these papers and you got a pile that's super big, the wind's not going to be able to blow that away. So you're going to have that baseline that this person can trust you, that you're their friend, that even if maybe they're a little concerned later on, they still have so much trust and rapport built with you that they will at least listen to what you're saying later on when things get a little bit, tougher, or you have to draw out those pain points. So it's super important to take your time with the intro. Next is going to be setting the call's agenda. So now you're going to tell them what the goal of the call is, outline what you're going to accomplish with this call. So tell them what you want to find out. Tell them you want to find out where they're at currently, and where they want to get to and how we can help them achieve their goals. That's pretty much the structure of the call, right? So it's very important to keep authority early on and not break the frame of the call. So if they ask you any irrelevant questions at this point, you just need to deflect them and continue on with your framework. So let's go through a quick example. How much does this cost? Simply just say, that's a great question. I'm going to tell you exactly what it costs just in a bit. But first, we need to see if we can even help you first or you're going to say, yeah, first we need to see if we can help you. Then we'll talk about the pricing later on. And then you'd go, right back into your questioning. So again, Mikey, what is it that you feel is holding you back, right? Whatever the current question was or the next question you had to get into. But you're just going to acknowledge the question, deflect it, and then go back into your questions. The person who is questioning and is asking the questions is controlling the call. So you do not want to let the prospect ask the questions, especially early on. Of course, they can ask questions at the appropriate times and you'll open that up for them, but not when you're setting the agenda or if they're asking things that are completely irrelevant and brought up at the end. If they're asking that now, you need to deflect those and stick to the framework that you have. This will throw off the whole call if you don't stick to it. So it's very important that you do that. Now we get into point A. So their current situation is pretty much as it sounds. So your goal here is to figure out what their current situation is with pre-formulated open-ended questions. This is going to be the first stage of your needs analysis. You're really going to want to dive into, why are they on this call with you today? What are they currently, what is their current situation? It's basically as it sounds. So 5 to 10 questions that will guide you to understand everything you need to know about the prospect's current situation. And this will be specific to the offer that you're selling. We'll dive into now point B, where they want to be, their goals, what are they looking to achieve. So this one's really important. So now once again, you're going to seek to find their goals. So you understand where they're currently at. Now you want to see where they want to get to. You will once again have predetermined questions that allow you to find tangibles that you can measure. That's very important. So tangibles are like, I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to make 10K per month. It's not just I want to make money online. No, what is it specifically, right? And now you're also going to find some of their wants and desires here, why they want to achieve those things by digging deeper into their answers with, once again, open-ended questions. You're always going to be using open-ended questions when you sell. So now when you're trying to find out their motivations, and this is super important for later on when you're overcoming objections, so you're going to need to remember this. You're going to try and find things like, what is the motivating factor behind wanting to achieve X? Or how quickly do you want to achieve this? Why do you want to achieve this? What will achieving this do for you? This is super important. So you're going to want to have a bunch of, furthering dig deeper questions pre-formulated that you're going to ask them to really understand the motivation behind wanting to get to what that goal is. So first, you're going to figure out what is the tangibles, what are they wanting to achieve? And then second, you're figuring out the motivations behind wanting to achieve those. That's super important that you do both of those, not just one or the other. Okay. Now, what's holding you back? Your goal is to figure out why they aren't able to achieve this themselves and why they got on the call with you today. What do they need help with to achieve their goals? The prospects will basically close themselves by telling you everything you need to know in order to close them. So you're seeking to understand their pain points here and find out their true struggles. So after you've gotten point A, their current situation, point B, where they want to be, their goals and what they want to achieve, and you know what's holding them back and why they can't do it themselves, now you're going to present them with the diagnosis or the solution to their problem. So now you're going to position the program or the influencer as the expert who can help them achieve their goals by walking them through what you provide specific to their needs. So you're going to talk them through each one of their problems, showing them how you'll get them from point A to point B. You need to make it seem simple. You need to sell with confidence. They want to know for a fact that if they're going to give you thousands of dollars, you're going to help them achieve their goals. And once you've diagnosed them, you're going to ask them something along the lines of, does this sound like something that would help you achieve your goals? Or is this something that you resonate with? And if they say yes, you're going to move to the close. And this is where you tell them about the delivery of what you provide, along with how they will get them from point A to point B. At this point, you're also going to walk them through the investment, and you're also going to want to make sure that they know that they're not just buying a course or a one-on-one call, but the knowledge and the expertise to help them piece together everything. You're connecting all the dots for them in their unique situation that would otherwise be extremely difficult for them to do themselves. It's super important that they know that, and you can even just straight up say this. This is something that, of course in the right time, in the right moment, if they have any questions or things like that, if they're like, if they're talking about price, this is actually one of the overcomes you can use to make them feel comfortable about why they're paying so much money, is because you are connecting the dots for them in this unique situation that would otherwise be extremely difficult for them to do themselves. And that must be understood, because otherwise people aren't going to want to pay, $5, $10, $25,000 just for a course or a one-on-one call. But it's that knowledge and that expertise of guiding them to piece everything together that's truly worth that money. So now when you explain the investment, you're going to want to say it with confidence, and when you drop the price, don't say anything else. You sit in silence. If you're a salesman, you need to be comfortable with silence. And now they're either going to agree to buy or they're going to object. So if they buy, that's it. The call's done. You made your commission and you're a high ticket closer. But now if they object, it's most likely going to be at this point a price objection. So don't focus on the money. Go back to the diagnosis. An easy question to start with is, if this wasn't about the money, if this program was free, do you agree that this is what you need, or it would help you get to point B? right? Whatever their specific point B was. And if they agree that this can help them and they need it, then you're going to go into, it's usually going to be one of two things. It's either going to be trust or the price point. So if it's trust, they're probably going to be concerned with how do they know that this is going to work for them? They don't know you. So you're going to want to relate to the issue and how you or the influencer has overcome something similar. You can also use case studies specific to their situation, people that you've helped that are extremely similar to them. So let's say it's a business coaching program and they're at 5K and they want to get to 25K. You can pull up specific examples of people who were at 5K in a very specific niche and things like that who have gotten to 25K, showing them that you've helped other people in very similar situations and it can be done. So that's how you're going to really want to overcome that trust, is just, relating to them, showing them specific case studies. And then if it's a price point objection, the easy solutions are going to be payment plans and credit. So if you have things like Affirm available, that will help break down that price point and make that super affordable for them. Otherwise, you're going to want to see if they have, how much credit they have available. These are things that you're going to ask them. You can't be shy to ask people, exactly what they have available and how much they can afford, and really try and figure out a way to make this work for them. Also, you're going to seek to find out if they have cash that they aren't revealing. Sometimes a lot of people, and I've even done this myself when I've been sold on, I do mentorship programs all the time. And when I first started doing them, sometimes I would hide the amount of cash that I actually had when they asked me, how much do you have available? I would say a lot less than I actually had. But so sometimes people can be, hiding what they truly have if they're just a little bit nervous. And then it just really comes, once again, to talking them through it, figuring out why they don't trust, what their trust issues are or the price point. And it really just comes to talking this through with them. It's very general to, there's not too many specific things I can give you on this in this just, general overview. There's going to be so many different things for so many different programs and mentorships that this is something you're just going to have to feel out, but it's usually going to be down to trust or price point. So you're going to have to figure these out as you take some of these calls and really work to find how you can overcome the objections specific to the program or mentorship that you're selling that you commonly see. So that was if they agreed, right? Those were the two things and you're going to overcome them. And if they say no, then you can find the true objection. So you're going to go back to the diagnosis and find out what they didn't like about the solution you provided for them. So if you told them, this is a weight loss program where we're doing a vegan diet to achieve 40-pound weight loss. And then they're like, Sebastian, I don't know if I'm ready to go full vegan. That doesn't seem like something I truly resonate with. And then I would say, oh, well, Mike, no worries. We actually aren't just an all vegan program, if this was true. We actually have options for everyone. You can still have a pizza and burger diet and still achieve our results. We're just more vegan focused for the health aspect side of things, but we help people with any sort of diet that they're looking to work with to achieve that 40-pound weight loss. And so you're repositioning the program to help them in the specific way in which they were looking for, as long as that's actually true. And then you can have them once again re-agree to the diagnosis and say, oh, you know what, Sebastian, that's perfect. I was just a little worried about going full vegan, but knowing that, sometimes I can have that burger or that pizza and it's not going to mess everything up, I feel much more comfortable about this now. Boom. You got that. Now you're good, right? So you found the true objection and you overcame it. And so once you know the true objection, if they're still hesitant, now you're going to want to use the pain points you discussed throughout the call specifically. The motivations in point B on why they truly want this and also what's holding them back. And then you're going to use those to push them over the edge. So that's why I said earlier, you really need to remember this at point B. Like, why do they truly want this? That's why you're digging deep to know the true motivations. And then also what is holding them back, why they can't achieve this themselves. Because this is all the ammo you need to now close if they have a bunch of objections later on. So if you're selling something truly valuable that helps people and you believe in, this should be extremely easy for you. It shouldn't even come across as pressure selling, but getting them to understand the risk of not proceeding with something like this because you know how much it will truly impact and benefit their life for the better. So let's go with an example of a weight loss program. So what is the risk of you not losing 100 pounds, Mike? How will you feel in 6 months if you're in the same place that you are now, still not able to play football with your son because fear was holding you back from making the change that you knew you needed? So these are all things that you would have gathered earlier, like, he said in point B on why he truly wants this. I really want to lose 100 pounds so I can play football with my son right now. I run around and I get winded and I have to sit on the sidelines, and I'd really love to be able to play football with my son. So these are things that you're going to tie in later on. It's going to be unique to every single mentorship or program that you're selling, but we just thought of a quick example here. You start with the basics of what is the risk of not losing the 100 pounds, and then you really further, if that hasn't got them over the edge, you dig deeper into really hitting on those pain points, saying, how will you feel if 6 months you're in the same place you're now and you're not able to play football with your son? I know that was super important to you, and it was all because fear was holding you back from not making the change that you knew you needed. And you just sit in silence and let them answer that question. And these are the questions that you need to ask. You need to ask the tough questions. Don't let them off easy here. That they need what you are selling. It's super important that you push at the end. If you have a valuable product that really is going to help people and you know it will change their life, you need to push them over the edge. You need to ask the tough questions. And if you truly believe in this program, you won't even come across as pressure selling, and it will come across completely natural, and they'll buy almost every single time. So this is how you're going to overcome objections, specifically ones related to price. That's usually going to be the most common thing when you're selling high ticket, being that it's anywhere from like $2,000 to $25,000. All right, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this free high ticket closing course, that this provided you with a ton of value.